Good morning, good afternoon, and hello there. I'm Andy Buckley. I'm a global solutions partner here at Human8, and that means I'm responsible for listening to clients, understanding their needs, and anticipating the future. That's going to help us innovate and deliver research as your businesses change. And I'm delighted to welcome you to today's session. But first, three little bits of housekeeping before we start. In the bottom right-hand corner, you might see a little chat function there. So if you're feeling up to it, why not tell me how you're feeling, or maybe even just drop an emoji? Or maybe in true European style, why not tell us whereabouts you are in the world and maybe what the weather's like? Now, you'll also see that there's a tab there to raise questions. You can either respond to someone else's question, upvote another person's question, and you can do that using the arrow at the left-hand side. And just another note as well, we are recording, and you are going to receive a recording of this session afterwards. So, for now, sit back and relax, enjoy your lunch, whatever it is that you're doing over this next half hour. And again, welcome to this upcoming trilogy of webinars where we're going to be looking at new opportunities, new ways of thinking that's going to help us tackle the current challenges. And I think we've all got more than enough of those at the moment, right? Well, one of the advantages that we've got at Human8 is that over the last 5 years, we've become a much larger global organization. And that's meant that we've had an increase in our diversity. And in that, it's the skills and the experience that we can bring to clients and the whole arena of online communities. And in line with that, you'll be hearing a diversity of different perspectives from parts of our organization over the course of this trilogy. So, for example, we're going to be looking at the exciting potential presented by machines and AI. In the final episode of the trilogy, we're going to look at the value of building and applying a deeper cultural understanding and applying that to consumer insights. And then we've got this first episode where we're going to be focusing specifically on how we're helping clients with their current economic challenges by reimagining how communities can be used for more strategic purposes beyond traditional consumer insight. Now, it's worth reflecting that we've actually been running online communities here for near on 20 years, and communities remain very much as the DNA at the core of our business. But how we design them, their size, their shape, and how we connect with different types of people and connect with you, our clients, to activate the insights is constantly evolving. So without any further ado, I'll hand over to Angie, who's our head of communities here at Human8. Angie, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andy, and thanks everyone for joining. In today's session, as Andy mentioned, we'll focus on how communities can help to close the gap between brands and their audiences. And this is especially important considering we currently live in a fast-paced and uncertain world. This quote, "Change is the only constant," which is more than 2,500 years old, is probably more relevant than ever. Not only has the pandemic and the post-pandemic world drastically changed people and brands, we are now also confronted with a challenging economic reality. And this graph shows the economic growth predictions by the IMF. And globally, we see an average expected economic growth rate of 3% for next year. But when we zoom in into Europe and the UK, for example, we see a significantly less growth at 1.5 and 1%. In other words, growth in our region is not a given anymore. At the same time, we are also confronted with the rising expectations people have towards brands. One of our own studies last year uncovered that 63% of consumers think brands should help them live a better life, while only a minority of them believe brands when they claim they put their customers first. So there's an obvious disconnect between people's expectations and the reality they live in every day. It's clear we find ourselves in an era of exceptional transformation, where agility and connecting with people are essential for any brand to succeed. And to stay relevant and even thrive in such a dynamic environment, brands need to keep a finger on the pulse of what their audiences think, feel, and do. This is not easy, and in fact, many brands are struggling with this. And this is where communities can come in, as online communities are a gateway to people connection and collaboration. They enable you to get close to the people that matter to your brand, but also they can drive human understanding and intuition across your business. And by doing so, communities can help brands navigate these challenging times. And the potential of communities has not gone unnoticed, with 60% of insights leaders indicating they are currently using insights communities in one shape or form. But when 60% mentions they are using insights communities, what do they really mean? As there is not one clear-cut definition. It may refer to intimate, deep qualitative communities, while in other cases it refers to larger panels focused on DIY capabilities, or maybe anything in between. Communities over the years have developed and evolved to having multiple and different faces. And that should, as such, not maybe be a negative thing. In fact, it might be one of its strengths, as there is no such thing as a one-fits-all community. Communities can and should take different forms, all depending on the purpose of your community. It starts with having clarity on what your business goals and objectives are, which you want to try to achieve through your community. And depending on those needs, you need to shape your community, making sure that we solve each challenge in different ways. It's about matching your community DNA. Think about the people you put on your community, the type of activities you run, and so on, with its purpose. For example, a community centered around driving consumer closeness will focus more on connecting stakeholders with community members to foster empathy. While communities aim to support innovation initiatives, not only engage and collaborate with everyday people, but they will also bring in creative minds who can come up with out-of-the-box ideas. And when focusing on the customer experience, it can be valuable to involve your frontline employees in the community. Think about involving your employees in the store who witness daily interactions between your customers and your brand. With their unique and different perspective, they can provide valuable insights into the customer experience. It's clear that communities offer a lot of versatility. And that versatility also shines through when we think about community duration and length. While often we refer to a community as being longitudinal, it doesn't always have to be. They're in fact highly flexible in duration, ranging from short-term collaboration to solve one of business problems, to a few months of iterative collaboration via different research waves, all the way to ongoing communities. It's about choosing the right approach for your business challenge. But irrespective of the type of community you run, there are three crucial ingredients to unlock its full potential and make sure that we drive change for your brand through communities. One, it's about embracing a people-led approach. Two, making sure we bring in different and diverse perspectives. And three, it's about activating the insights through partnership, because insights without action really remain untapped potential. And each of these three elements, people, perspectives, and partnership, should be tailored and customized to suit the specific business goals you're trying to achieve, ensuring your community DNA is aligned with its purpose. Now let's start and have a look at people. At the heart of every successful community lies its people. They are the bloodline of our communities. Communities are not just a collection of random people on a digital platform that we engage for a certain period. At Humanate, we really embrace the idea that people come with a different set of unique skills. And in order to achieve your community purpose, it's crucial to engage with the right people at the right time. And this is where our layered community approach comes in. We identify in our communities different profiles so that we can enable you to tap into the full breadth of people power. To start, we have a diverse and intimate group of interesting and interested people at the heart of our communities. Interested means that they have an affinity with the topic at hand. They actively want to collaborate and share their experiences with us. Interesting means that they are interesting to us, our business goals, and our objectives. And depending on the community purpose, we might define this group of immersed consumers in different ways. In some cases, we might want to collaborate with brand users, while in other cases, such as innovation projects, we might want to team up with leading edge consumers. But this small and intimate group of immersed people is our go-to audience in our community when we want to immerse in their worlds, when we want to uncover hidden truths and optimize solutions. Being passionate and enthusiastic about a particular theme or topic, they can really help us to push the boundaries of traditional thinking. Now, of course, when needed, we can always expand our community with a second layer, a layer which is a crowd of everyday consumers. And this is especially relevant when we want to validate and quantify among mainstream audiences. While our everyday consumers might not be able to envision how they want their needs to be fulfilled, they can definitely vocalize what they do and don't like when they engage with brands. And that way they can help us spot new opportunities. And then finally, we can also bring in community extensions, as not everybody can come up with out-of-the-box ideas or help us see possible futures. These are special skills and they require a specific way of collaboration. At Humanate, we have our own proprietary communities of creative and culture change makers. Culture change makers, which we also call our Illums, are people living at the edge of culture. They are actively driving brands to change. While creative change makers, or icon network, or out-of-the-box thinkers, helping us to explore new creative solutions. So whenever your community needs an extra spark, we can temporarily bring in these change makers into our projects. So let's have a look at how this layered community approach comes to life in a project we collaborated on with Pernod Ricard. So Pernod Ricard is on a mission to better connect with local consumers in Asia, especially China and Korea. And more specifically, they want to incorporate as much as possible cultural relevance when launching a new product. And to support them in this endeavor, we started this project with an online community, engaging with a small group of interested and interesting people in China and Korea for a few weeks. And through online discussions, we learned more about their lifestyle, drinking occasions, their needs, their friction. And all of this allowed us to map different insights platforms to fuel product innovation later on. Next, we turn these platforms into a creative brief for our network of creative change makers. And the out-of-the-box ideas from our icon network really brought fresh inspiration. In total, we received more than 80 ideas, focusing on a wide range of things and elements, such as ingredients, and really helped to widen Pernod Ricard's horizon. Now, the top 30 ideas were selected, and together with the Insight platforms, they served as the starting point for an ideation workshop. And during this immersive workshop with a lot of interactive activities, 23 new product ideas were created. And finally, out of those 23 product ideas, 3 winning concepts were identified through concept screening and optimization with a crowd of everyday people. So the first important ingredient to unlock your community's full potential is bringing the right people for the right task to achieve your community purpose. A second element is combining different perspectives, because different views are needed to see a full picture. To achieve 360 understanding, you need to look at a topic from different angles. And a community offers a creative toolkit to bring in those different views, which can even be customized according to your community's purpose. Because a community is like a Swiss Army knife. It offers versatility, a full suite of research options. It allows you to go beyond one approach in one specific project. And in fact, we can say that a community removes quite a lot of the traditional research paradoxes. We are less restricted to making choices, and we can blend different views and complementary perspectives to really uncover hidden truths and getting a 360 views on people's lives and the world they live in. For example, in one specific project, we can combine synchronous and asynchronous interactions. We can set up live connects with people, such as interviews, but in the same project, we can also set up activities where we give people the freedom to join the activities whenever they want or whenever that's most relevant for us. Think about, for example, when we want to get feedback on their airport experience, we want to make sure that they give us that feedback while they are at the airport. So it's really about combining that in the moment feedback through, for example, mobile ethnography, but at the same time also being able to track that for a longer time. It also allows us to blend quant and qual. We can get foundational, deep understanding, but then also in those projects, we can still get directional quant results. We don't only have to rely on what people tell us, we can also observe them, and that allows us to identify say-do gaps. And we can blend individual activities really focused on getting in-depth personal insights with also group discussions that spark interactions. Communities are also only restrict us to interact with them in a digital way. We can go beyond the platform. Go beyond the platform, ask our members to go on missions, and even meet up with them in person. And all of these different ways of interacting allow us to zoom in on both the rational and the emotional side of people. And finally, we can combine the power of human and AI to supercharge our insights. Annelies will tell you more about that in next week's webinar. Now, this versatility of communities was key when Mars Wrigley, the parent company of brands like Snickers and Twix, teamed up with us. Being on a mission to inspire moments of everyday happiness, Mars Wrigley wants to enhance its product portfolio with healthier options to promote emotional, social, and physical resilience. And for this specific study, we focused on identifying white spaces and human needs to fuel the health and wellness innovation strategy. This was done via a combination of foundational and agile methods, and sometimes agile and foundational don't always seem to blend well. But the question is, are they really truly opposites? Because innovating in a space as broad as health and wellness really requires you to take a moment for reflection, to think things through. But having that strong foundation then of consumers' unmet needs and tension also allows you later on in the process to move faster and be more confident when you move to concept creation and testing and so on. So to fuel this journey with consumer relevance, we engaged with healthy-minded consumers in the UK, China, France, and the US for several weeks in a mobile-first community. In total, we followed about 200 people across these 4 markets, and discussions were moderated by a local moderator in local language to establish trust and make sure that we gained deep understanding of their health and wellness journey. Now, a challenge like this needs to be viewed from different lenses. And one lens we applied was micro moments. Now, a lot of you might have experience with occasion models, but we needed a more granular view on the topic to really understand the context, but also make sure we could afterwards fuel innovation. And a micro moment is a combination of multiple elements. It's about the what. Think about the environment of enjoying a snack, the time, place, and situation. It also touches upon the why. What are the triggers and the motivations driving snacking behavior, as well as the challenges? What are the frictions people are experiencing to meet their desired outcome? And in the specific context of health and wellness, these moments are very layered, as people always search for a balance between physical, emotional, and mental well-being. One example of such a micro moment is the courage snack. On the right, you can see a quote of one of our French community members bringing this micro moment to life. Now, the centerpiece of this project to uncover all those relevant micro moments was an ethnography. People shared detailed snacking diaries of their snacking moments, documenting also their emotions before and after. But to gain deeper understanding, we also ran more task-driven activities, such as activation and deprivation exercises, to really make sure we could add further layers of understanding. And although the mobile ethnography was crucial in developing the micro moments, this is not where we stopped. We looked at it from multiple perspectives. For example, the longitudinal nature of our study allowed and facilitated consecutive learning, allowing hypotheses to be shaped and validated throughout the process. We delved also into specific topics in the community, such as ingredients, and we even explored potential claims and ideas via activities that captured people's and community members' instant reactions, which also then provided us with some directional quant results. Now, this holistic approach resulted in a map of 27 micro moments. These micro moments were mapped depending on the time of the day and the balance people want between healthy and tasty. And this model allowed us to identify common patterns and insights and bring together the micro moments that had something in common. So this allowed us then to level them up in 8 innovation platforms for health and wellness, each coming with a distinct opportunity for Mars Wrigley and also being the springboard for product development. During a workshop, 3 innovation platforms were prioritized, and in the meantime, 3 successful innovations have been launched in record speed. Snickers High Protein, Twix Oti, and M&M Munchens. And each of those products was born out of these micro moments, striking a balance between consumers' desire for indulgence and healthier choices. These products not only surpass sales targets, but also secure top positions in their respective categories without extensive marketing campaigns. Now, what this project showcases is that the community's versatility and diverse perspectives drives foundational insights. And those foundational insights enable brands to become more agile, as it provides confidence throughout the rest of the process. Now, as we've seen in this Mars Wrigley case, communities enable agility, but communities also offer more than purely agility. In comparison to traditional methods, communities allow you to engage and collaborate with members for a longer time. And this longitudinal relationship also allows you to see people's behavior and attitudes evolve over time, and even allows you to discover patterns. So, for example, when one of our clients launched a new product, we shipped it to our community members and we observed them for 3 months. This long-term connection not only allowed us to see how people were interacting with the product, but we could also see how use cases and habits were shaped, and ultimately what people did when they finished the product. In other words, the time we have with our community members can really bring in a fresh perspective to a topic or a category, and can help us to identify new opportunities for brands, products, and services. Now, getting to great insights is, of course, not the end of our community. There is no value in great insights if you can't activate them. And to fuel human intuition through your organization, you need to put your stakeholders front and center so that ultimately decisions are taken with the consumer and people at heart. But activation is a lot more than just creating content and creative deliverables. It's about creating human experiences that really drive impact. It's about changing the hearts of your stakeholders through, for example, setting up consumer connect programs where we match stakeholders with community members for live chats, so that they can get close to people, but also get to know the people behind the data. It's also about changing their minds and going beyond specific project deliverables. It's about turning your ongoing community with the power of AI into a consumer intelligence system so that you can extract meta learnings and build hypotheses each time you start a new project, really leveraging the data that you already have. And finally, it's about sparking actions and driving external change through immersive workshops. To summarize, communities can take up different shapes and forms, and that versatility makes them a great tool to navigate the current fast-paced and uncertain world we live in. It also allows you to customize each community to your specific objectives and purpose. And really, to unlock that full potential of your community, it's important that the community is being tailored, focusing on three important elements. People, do we bring in the core, the layer of the crowd, or do we even need extensions such as creative and culture change makers, making sure that we bring in those different perspectives and activating insights through partnership. And when doing so, communities can really help brands to become more human-centric, ultimately fueling strategic and tactical decision-making.